Hello. I think I just plotted my book. Yeah, I know it sounds crazy. Even I cannot believe it, but I really feel like I did the first ever book plotting of the first ever book I'm very serious about. I'd be lying if I say I have not written any books earlier, but those were just for fun. Books I wanted to write for myself, but this time the feeling is a bit different. This time I not only just want to write a book about for myself, but also for the world to read it. Now, it sounds crazy, but let me just show you how I plotted my book. Before I dig deep into it, let me be very clear that I am certainly not a practicing genius. No, I'm not that. Even I don't know if this will work or not, because let's be real, I have heard of so many people plotting their book and then they just go off the bridge, and I'm so ready for that. I can see myself doing that. But since this is my documentary channel and I like documenting things I would want to see later and I would want people like me to see and relate to, so I'm going to do it. I'm going to take you all into everything I did before I finally plotted the book. So let's get started. So I have three journals. One is this red one, the red big one, as you can see. This is the second one, and this is the third one. Now let me be very clear. It's not like all the pages of these books are like filled with all the things I've written. No. I think the only journal that is truly filled is this one, the red one. This one is the uh, journal I used to write whatever idea come to my mind. Like so many pages. It even has a manga notes page. Like I have written manga ideas here. I'm a very creative person. I always say that, and that is the reason why I write so many things in it. And then later, when I actually have to write something, what I do is I take brief ideas from everywhere and just put it together, and boom, I have a book. But no, this time I did not do that. No, this time I wrote it from scratch. So if you all are wondering if what are the journals you need, I feel like what really helped me, I have a lot of other journals as well. Let me be very clear. Calm down. Okay. So, but I think you need only three. I'll tell you how. So, one for all the basic ideas, like all the ideas that are coming to your mind, write them somewhere. Like that should be the book where you write everything. It will help you later while writing, to get ideas from here and there. But also, this should be the one where you write everything so that later, after the brain dumping is done, a day or two later, you'll just open it and you'll read it just to see what are the things you've written. This is like step one of my journal series. Now we are going to dig deep into our story building process. So now you have to buy another journal. Yeah, I'm not asking you to buy things. You might use other things that you already have in your house or not. I don't know. But I have bought it because I am a freak about journals. So I bought it. Yeah. So now what you need to do in here is, after you've read from the other journal and the ideas you love the most, like, okay, I can see a whole story forming on these characters, on these things, that is when you need to think deep about these particular characters and these particular situations or whatever they go through. That all the things that you are writing, or all the things that you have in your brain now, is what you are going to write in this new one. That is what I did. Like, only this much is filled yet, but I have this much left as well, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to use all of it because I am done with the first plotting, right? I have not done every tiny detail of the book. No. I think all these things I'm going to do in here itself. So now this journal's process is a bit lengthy. This is where the whole work is going to go for the plotting purpose. Now I'll come to it later. first let me just tell you about the last journal. So in this journal you are going to write about these particular characters and the plot. That is what is going to be in this one. And then later you will use the third journal. Okay. Okay, this is the last journal. As of now, I don't know if I'll need more or not. This is the one that is going to come the most handy. Like, this is the one you are going to keep open as you write the chapters in your laptop or computer, whatever. I'm not judging. No way I'm judging. People should judge me at this point. Anyway, so it is not filled at all. Like I say, I just finished plotting yesterday, but I do have written something in here, and I'm going to use it for that. Like, I have 2 to 3 chapters plotted out in this one. So this is chapter plotting, but this video is about book plotting, by the way. We'll make a separate video of chapter plotting if at all I think that the world needs my guidance. That is when I'm going to do it. Yeah, but as of now, the third journal, this one, make sure it's like a big one because you're going to write a lot of details in here. This is about chapter lining because many people do love writing chapters out first, like not like the proper chapter, but like what are the things that are going to come in this chapter, outlining your chapters. That is what you're going to do in this one. Because I literally have a friend who like wrote her whole book, and then she thought that no, the chapter pacing is not right, so she had to write it again. That is when she told me that what you should do, you should take a particular page, many pages actually, not a particular page. You write down all the chapters and what are the things that are going to come, and if you think the pacing is not right, you change it on the rough page itself. Don't write the whole thing. And also, the first time you're writing, don't write the most beautiful prose ever because you have to rewrite it someday. Now, let me be very real. I'm not asking you to write bullshit in your first draft. What I am asking you to do is don't put so much energy on the first draft because you have to write it again. Like, I had to do it. Like I said, I have written many novels, and I've also submitted only one novel to editors. A lot of editors, actually, 18 editors. But my problem with that particular book was that it was very short. Like, I think about 18,000 to 20,000 words, and it was supposed to be a novella. But most of the editors were asking me to make it a novel. That is good because this is your first debut work, and I was like, how can I do that? I'm already I had already stretched it out so that I can make it 18,000 words to 20,000 words. But they were like, no. I was like, no way, bro. I'm a creative person, and I feel like if I did that, it would lose the soul of the book. Anyway, yapping about things that are not even important for this video. Okay, now we are going to actually learn. Don't learn from me, by the way. I'm just here so that you can get motivated to plotline your book. Don't learn from me, please. Because there will be another video 2 months later, and I'll be like, I told you, don't learn from me. That is what I'm going to do. Every time this is what happens. Anyway, let's discuss about this journal. Okay. So my book is historical fiction. So what is very, very important for writing a historical fiction, which is very obvious, is having a know about the time you're going to write about. So mine was 1800s. So I'm writing about the time period of 1800s. So the first thing I did in my journal was years. A lot of fucking years. Lots of it. So yeah, it was almost torture. Not really. I'm also a history minor, so it should have been easier for me, but somehow it was not. But I had this in the back of my mind that, bro, even if the novel does not work out, I am at least gaining ideas about timelines so that I can do good in history class. Now, these are the kind of motivations you need to have to actually complete a novel. Don't always think about what if this happens and oh my god. No, think what if it fails, but still what am I going to keep going with? If you're a person like me, these things will help you. But you're like, if you're very positive and stuff, then maybe you should watch someone else. Yeah. But also, since I'm talking about the timeline and stuff, in the screen I'll share all the vibes of my book that is going to be, if you like Bridgerton, Jane Austen, Yearning, forbidden romance and intercultural exchange, then maybe you would enjoy my bookish journey, my writing journey. And maybe if someday it comes out, then we'll meet you. Anyway, so this is about all the genre things and the things you need to do before actually plotting the book. This is the first thing you need to do, the timeline if you're writing a historical fiction. That is what I did. So this particular journal is going to be a lot about the logical things that are going to happen in the book. So after you're done with all the years and stuff, and then you need to do the vibes thing. Now the vibe thing, I did it on Pinterest is itself. Sorry. So since I did it on Pinterest itself, so I did not really have to do much in my journal. But if you're like a very physically active person, like whatever, if you like cutting pictures and pasting it in your journal, you can very much do it. But I am not that person, so I did it on my Pinterest. So now we are done with 2 steps. Now this is the third one, the characters. Usually a person would do the character thing first, but no, I did not do it. I wrote the character thing at last, and at first I plotted the book, like the proper plotting of the book. How did I do it? That is what I'm here for, to tell you how I did it. But before that, you still need to have a shallow idea about the characters, especially the main characters, like the female main character and the male main character, and also a brief idea about their families and upbringing. You don't need to like find out their backstories, their traumas, what happened in their childhood and how they're going to end up. No, you do not need to find out all of that. Like if you want to, you might, but I did not. What I did is have a basic idea about who they are, and then I wrote the plot thing. Now, if you remember, there was a red journal where you actually wrote what was supposed to happen. That is very much important. So the first step, that one is very important. Now what you're going to do is keep the first journal with you. Now you know about the characters and a bit about their life, and now you plot them. Most of the writers use the 3-act structure, but I am not normal. So after plotting the 3-act structure, I saw that shit, there should be something more. So I kind of have a 4-act structure where the 4th act is kind of like an epilogue itself, but still. So yeah, that is what I did. Now, since I have a 3-act structure, I'll also kind of tell you what are the things that I wrote. So in the first act, I wrote about all the themes of the book. Like in the first act, I'm going to introduce the characters, the vibes, like what are the events that are going to take place, and their chemistry with each other, like all the characters, not just the main characters, no. So yeah, all the stage exposition things we are going to write here. And also in act 1 we are going to put the inciting incident. Inciting incident is basically the event that kind of changes a person's life, like the main character's life a bit. So that is like the basic starting point of the novel. Why would a reader read your book if it's a normal day? They will read it because something out of the ordinary has happened, and now they want to follow what is happening. So this is the inciting incident. But I am not normal, so I have 2 parts of the inciting. There is a phase 1, then inciting incident, then phase 2 of the inciting incident. In phase 1, basically our female main character and the male main character have a different kind of chemistry. Okay. And then the inciting incident happens where a man, being a man, does something very bullshit worthy. Anyway, sorry guys. So after that, their chemistry entirely changes. So that inciting incident is basically binding them into their new dynamic. But not only is it doing that, but it is also taking you to act 2. That is the confrontation part. Like, confrontation is where the proper rising action comes in. So this is basically the preparation of the storm, that is act 1. Then act 2 is the storm going on, and then act 3 is when it goes kind of down slope. But no, in my act 3 it still goes up slope. But in Act 4, we are finally going to find a resolution and a conclusion. And I have named it Epilogue because I could not think of anything better right now. But yeah, that is what my Act 4 structure of the novel is about. So, this is how I completed my plotting. The four basically the four pivotal points of the novel: the starting, the going up, the going very up, then going down. That is it. That is about my plot line. And I also did a diagram thing which might need a bit of change, but I will show you nevertheless. Like this. Yeah, I'm not going to show everything because I have not even written the whole thing yet. So that is what your plotting is going to look like. You need to have the characters sort out, the vibe sort out, and all the main things that are going to happen in your novel. Like in my novel, it is going to be a 90-day structure. So a lot of events are going to take place, or many princely state people are going to be invited, and a lot of gossips, a lot of forbidden stuff, a lot of things which are supposed to be uh, controlled because rules exist, but then when the heart speaks, rules kind of don't matter much. So, in my first act, that is going to be very clear that what is this novel going to be about. The first act is very, very important about it. Then the act 2 and act 3 are very important to keep the reader hooked. That is where all the pivotal things, the plot twists, the yearning, the rushed decisions, the impulsive decisions, those are going to take place in act 2 and act 3. Now that most of the book is done, now the last part is again another important part. So if you do that right, then the best thing ever. And then at last I did the character thing, which is character 101. That is where I actually started to write about the characters. Now, as of now, my update is I have written about the main characters and their siblings. Like both the main characters, their siblings, and their family trees. I've only written about these people. But in my particular book, there are going to be a lot of characters, a lot of families. So I will also have to write about them. That is what I'm already doing in this journal, and that is why I say that I think the whole book is going to be like the whole journal is I'm going to need the whole journal, because a lot of things are needed to be done, and all the plot lines, the plot loops, the plot holes, plot holes in the sense that you might think there's a plot hole and then suddenly it becomes a twist. So like that, if journals are very important, because so many times we as writers forget that, oh, I had that incomplete and I need to do it. So these are the times when it actually comes handy. And then the last journal, what you're going to do is the the chapter thing. Write the chapter wise breakdown. I have personally not done that yet. Yesterday I completed chapter 1, and I'm also doing this dual point of view thing. So again, it is also very important for chapter lining, because there is going to be alternate views. So it's very difficult to keep everything in your mind. So this is where the journaling helps. So as of now, I'm here, and this is all I have done about my plot lining. I'm just done with plot lining, and I've written chapter 1. I hope you like this video, and if you want to know more about my journey and everything, then maybe you should just tag along. I'll see you next sometime.